In this video, we're going to go through a process of creating a user login that tracks who the user is. I've created a table already called users, which has an email, a password, and a phone number. The password will be stored in plain text for simplicity's sake in this example. I've started a login config file very similar to the last one that we used in an example, where we have just a username and password. However, now instead of storing the username and password, we're going to pull that information from the database table users. To do that, I'm going to make sure that I select my database connection file. I have also started a session. Starting a session will allow me to use something called a session variable. A session variable allows me to remember values stored between multiple pages. This is very useful if you have to have logins. I also have an after login redirect variable, which is going to take me a file called edit entry. This is basically used, where do I go after I've successfully logged in? So I have here a check to say if is set login submit. This is going to be the name of our login file. And I'm going to build a SQL statement. I'm going to select all my variables just for simplicity's sake from users, where email equals, and then I'm going to pull this information from my user input from the form. So I'm going to use my SQL value string. Then I'm going to specify the post variable. In this case, it's going to be email. It's of type text. Then I'm going to say and. This is going to say make sure my email and another value is equal to the value passed in. I'm going to check the password and make sure that it equals. I'm going to make sure it equals the password field that was passed in. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say if $row equals fetch associative array from this result, which basically says that if my result was not empty, then that'll be good. And what I'll do is I will create a special session variable and say is logged in and give it a value of true because that person's logged in. I'm going to create, and it's going to be used for determining what the username is. So I'm going to, since we're dealing with email, I'm going to call it email. I'm going to say that it equals from the database the email value. Once that's done, I'm going to go through and I'm going to redirect us to the page that we want to use after the person's been logged in. So say header, location, and I'm going to append my string here, my after login redirect, which will redirect the person. Okay, we had to correct a small error here that we noticed. It's supposed to be select star from users, left out the word from. Everything else here is the same. We get the result, and then we check to see if the result, if it returns a record. If so, we set our logged in variable and our email. And then we log in after redirect. I'm going to switch real quick. We're going to test this out. Have an example at example.com. We have a built-in password. We sign on. It signs us in correctly, and we go to a file called edit entry, where we allow the user to change their password and change their phone number if they want to.